All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. And today we are going to be talking about something pretty wild. DeepSeek.
Yeah, DeepSeek.
It's a Chinese AI program that everyone's talking about online.
Yeah.
And we have got a translated transcript
Cool.
from a Chinese YouTube video.
Oh, wow.
Where the creator's actually going through this and checking it out and comparing to ChatGPT. And so we're going to be kind of looking through that and trying to figure out what is going on. So are you ready to?
Yeah, I'm excited. This is fascinating stuff. I mean, AI is really blowing up all over the world, and it's interesting to see how it's developing differently in different places. So
Yeah, and I mean, I think that the first thing that really jumps out at me, and this was kind of surprising, is that it's ranked higher on Apple's App Store
really
than ChatGPT right now.
Wow.
And that's kind of wild to me.
Yeah, that is
an AI program that was really kind of targeted towards mainland China, where
especially in a place where, you think about all the issues people have accessing things like ChatGPT in China without special tools and everything. And then to have a homegrown program come out and kind of take the world by storm. That's
and it's just
that's got to be resonating with people.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And the YouTuber that we're following here is actually going through this all for the first time.
Okay.
It's just like us. So we get to experience it kind of
like fresh eyes.
Yeah, fresh eyes on this thing.
Yeah, cool.
And they walk us through the interface, and one of the first things that they run into is that the search function is all jammed up.
Oh, really?
They have to figure out.
Is it because too many people are using it, or?
Yeah, it sounds like too many people are using it. And
wow, that's a good problem to have, I guess. But also, if you're a user that's trying to get in there and do something that's frustrating.
Yeah, and it speaks to maybe some growing pains for DeepSeek if it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got this huge surge in popularity and your infrastructure can't handle it, that's definitely something they're going to have to address.
Right.
Especially if they want to compete on a global scale.
Yeah, absolutely. So they finally do get in, though.
Okay.
And so tell me a little bit about what the experience is like once you're...
Sure. So once you're in the street, the YouTuber points out that there are kind of two main modes.
Okay.
You've got internet search, and then you've got deep thinking.
Okay, and internet search is...
Internet search is where they were having the issues initially, but deep thinking, this is where it starts to get really interesting.
Okay, so deep thinking is where it's really using its AI capabilities.
Exactly. It seems to be where it's really kind of going beyond just simple information retrieval and providing something more analytical or insightful. So to really test it out, the YouTuber decides to ask DeepSeek and ChatGPT the same question.
Okay, what is it?
The question is, did DeepSeek use a large number of NVIDIA chips for training, despite the U.S. ban on selling them to China?
Ooh, getting right to the heart of the...
Right into it,
controversy.
So DeepSeek's response in the internet search mode was a little bit evasive.
Okay.
It talked about the global chip shortage and, China's need to kind of be technologically independent.
Right.
But it didn't really directly address the NVIDIA question.
Okay, so it's kind of dancing around it.
Yeah, it's kind of like skirting the issue.
Okay.
ChatGPT, on the other hand, very straightforward, just gave a breakdown of 4 potential scenarios.
Wow.
Could be pre-ban stockpiling acquisition through third parties, special, versions of NVIDIA chips that are exempt, or, Chinese developed chips.
Okay, so ChatGPT is giving us all the...
Very methodical, very here are the facts.
Right. Here's what could have happened.
Yeah.
DeepSeek, not so much.
So does DeepSeek ever actually give a straight answer?
Here's the interesting thing. So when the YouTuber switches to deep thinking mode and asks the question again, it gives a much more comprehensive answer. It's actually surprisingly similar to what ChatGPT said.
So it's like it's holding back.
It's almost like,
in one mode.
And then it's got the information, but it's choosing not to reveal it right away.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, is this a way of tailoring the experience to maybe different levels of user engagement? Or are they trying to, highlight their capabilities, but also kind of tiptoe around geopolitical sensitivities?
Right. It's a little bit strange.
Yeah, it's very strange.
It reminds me of, I have a friend who works in chip development in China.
Oh, wow.
And I was talking to them about this whole, how is China overcoming, how are they getting around these restrictions?
Yeah, all the technology gap. And they just said to me, things are not always what they seem.
That's cryptic.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, well, that's not very helpful, but, whatever.
All right, that leads us to kind of another layer of this whole DeepSeek controversy, which is the allegations of data theft.
Okay, let's get into that. So what are we talking about here when we say data theft?
So the YouTuber explains that DeepSeek might have used something called model distillation.
Model distillation.
Yeah, so essentially it's like a student AI, in this case DeepSeek, learning from a teacher AI, which would be like OpenAI.
Okay, so it's kind of like an apprentice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like watching the master.
Right, learning the tricks of the trade.
Exactly, absorbing all that knowledge. But here's the thing. While model distillation, like the technique itself is totally legitimate.
Right.
OpenAI's terms of service very specifically say you can't use it to train competing models.
They could be in a little bit of
Yeah, they might have overstepped their bounds by essentially using OpenAI's, knowledge to build up their own product that's directly competing.
So is OpenAI, are they saying anything about this?
So OpenAI themselves, they haven't made any official statements or anything.
Okay.
But Microsoft, which is very closely tied to OpenAI, has actually come out and accused DeepSeek of potential data theft.
Okay, so this is getting a little messy.
Yeah, it's turning into a whole corporate showdown now.
Yeah. Did the YouTuber find any kind of...
So they went digging through Sam Altman's Twitter feed, and the only mention they could find of DeepSeek was just one tweet, acknowledging it as a competitor, but not really addressing the controversy.
So it's like, we see you, but we're not talking about it.
Hush, hush.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what's going on behind the scenes. Are they investigating? Are they lawyering up? Who knows?
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's not just...
And this is where it kind of spills over into the real world, too.
Okay.
Because you've got the U.S. Commerce Secretary nominee who's been very vocal saying DeepSeek is straight up stealing AI tech.
Wow.
And even the former CEO of Google chimed in saying he was shocked by how quickly China has closed the gap in AI development. So DeepSeek is now this symbol.
Right. It's not just an app anymore.
Yeah, it's not just about the tech. It's about this global competition between the U.S. and China.
Yeah, it's almost like
for technological dominance.
Yeah, like a poster child for this whole rivalry.
And for that whole question of, is China playing fair in this race for technological advancement?
So what's the YouTuber's take on this? I mean, after actually using DeepSeek.
Yeah, so their takeaway seems to be that for users in China, it's a genuinely good option. If they want to use these AI language models.
Right.
Especially given that a lot of Western developed programs are hard to access there.
Right. So it's meeting a need.
Yeah, it's filling a gap.
In that market.
But they also say that for anyone outside of China, especially if you're concerned about data privacy or, the political stuff, maybe sticking with ChatGPT is going to be the more comfortable option.
So there's like a trust thing.
Yeah.
Almost.
Where do you feel more comfortable?
Right. Where do you feel safe putting your information and using?
Exactly.
And it's kind of wild that we're even having to think about this.
I know, right? It's a new world.
Yeah. And the YouTuber even mentions that President Trump, called out DeepSeek specifically as a threat to U.S. interests.
Wow.
So, this is something that's...
on the radar.
Yeah, it's on the radar at the highest levels.
Yeah, it's not just tech bloggers talking about this anymore.
Right.
This is national security stuff.
So we've got this backdrop of geopolitics, allegations of data theft.
It's a lot to unpack.
And this really powerful, silent player in OpenAI.
Yeah, what are they going to do?
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It really makes you think about where AI is going.
Yeah, what does this mean for...
And what it means for all of us.
Yeah, what does this mean for all of us? So let's bring this back to our listener.
Yeah, let's get practical.
How do we navigate all of this? I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that, we used to think about AI as this cool new tech thing, but now it's...
Now it's intertwined with
global
politics,
right?
National security.
It's scary.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's both.
But it's like you were saying, it really is a magnifying glass.
Yeah, DeepSeek is this perfect example of all these trends that are happening. The speed of development and competition between nations.
Yeah.
And then these really tricky ethical questions.
And I think for me, the thing that really jumps out is how DeepSeek's origins.
Yeah.
Where it came from and all the baggage that comes with that.
Right.
it actually changes how I think about it.
Absolutely. It makes you realize that AI isn't just this neutral tool.
Right.
It's got all this baggage from its creators.
It's like it's got a personality.
Yes, in a way.
Yeah.
It reflects the priorities,
right,
the values, the biases.
Even if it wasn't programmed to be biased?
Even if it wasn't intentional.
Right.
It's learning from data.
Right.
And that data comes from somewhere.
And the data comes from people.
Exactly.
Who have opinions. And
these people making decisions about what data to use,
right,
how to label it.
It's a little unsettling.
It's a little bit.
When you start thinking about how much we're going to be relying on these systems.
And we've already got algorithms making decisions in finance and healthcare.
And they're only getting more powerful.
Exactly.
So it's like...
So what do we do?
What do we do?
I think it comes down to critical thinking.
Okay.
We can't just blindly accept
right,
what the AI tells us.
I can't just assume it's right.
Right. Question everything. Think about different perspectives.
Be skeptical.
Be skeptical.
Exactly. So to wrap up our deep dive into DeepSeek, we've got this Chinese AI program that's come out of nowhere.
Blowing up the app charts.
Sparked all these debates.
Government investigations.
Data theft. And it's really making us think about...
Yeah, where is this all going?
Where it's all going.
What does the future of AI look like?
Right. What does it mean for us?
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest takeaways is that we have to be so much more aware.
Aware of where our technology comes from.
Yeah.
The influences that are shaping it.
The people behind it.
The people, the money.
The motivations.
Yeah.
It's not just a neutral thing.
It's not neutral at all.
And we have to be responsible.
Yeah.
You know?
We need to be pushing for transparency, fairness, accountability in these algorithms.
Because they're going to be...
They're going to run our lives.
Yeah. It's a little scary.
It is, but it's also exciting. I mean, who knows what the future holds?
It's a wild ride.
It's a wild ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, so buckle up, everybody.
Stay curious.
Stay curious. Keep asking the tough questions.
That's what we're here for.
That's what we're all about.
All right. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
See you next time.